Miguel hit metal 17 times. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. And today is not a special day. It is not. And So, it's Valentine's Day, and you know me, as per this channel's tradition, we do a bit of a Valentine's Day movie review every Valentine's Day to celebrate this lovely, sweet festival where everyone still needs to go to school and go to work. And 2 years ago, in 2022, I reviewed Lars and the Real Girl, which is a very sweet and lovely movie. And last year I decided to up my romantic game with the movie First Reformed. So I've been really thinking, what kind of movie do I want to review for this year's Valentine's Day? You know, just a sweet, romantic, nice, uplifting, movie. A movie that's totally not depressing at all. A movie that is about love and about care. So I finally found one. That movie is Detachment. Yeah, so Detachment is a 2011 American movie directed by Tony Kaye. And it sort of flew under everyone's radar, like no one's really talking about it. But I found out about this movie on Letterboxd a while back, and I've been curious about this movie for a while, and finally I got to watch it. Yeah, just perfect for Valentine's Day. So Detachment is essentially a film about Adrian Brody, who plays Henry Barth, a teacher, a substitute teacher who goes into what is essentially the worst high school in human history. The kids bully each other, the kids are suicidal, the teachers are incompetent, the principal is garbage, everything sucks, the neighborhood sucks, the entire facility sucks, life sucks, and everything sort of just falls apart. His grandpa is sick, his parents left him, and he runs into a homeless hooker on the streets who is underaged, and everything sucks essentially. So first off, I want to say that this is a very special movie. I was totally prepared for this movie to be one miserable block of nothingness. While yes, it is miserable, it is not nothing. There's actually a lot to discuss because there are so many scenes in this movie that made me go, "Oh, wow, that's pretty good. That's a good scene." And then there are scenes in this movie where it made me go, "Okay, you're trying a little too hard." But one thing for sure is that the editing and the cinematography is actually really interesting. This movie's so 2000s, even though it came out in 2011. There's something grimy and raw about the way this movie is presented, whether it is the handheld camera, the tons and tons of uncomfortable close-ups, and some of the shots in this movie feel like they're recorded by a camcorder. And again, this is 2011 where everything's sort of digital, and everything's sort of cinematic. But I think some of the shots in this movie are recorded with a camcorder, so there's this very 2000s vibe to it. And something about this movie just screams Greg Araki, if you know what I mean. There's just something so Greg Araki about this film. And yeah, there's a certain. It's really difficult to describe because not many movies achieve this kind of vibe, achieve this kind of style. And the only other movie that I can think of is Mysterious Skin by Greg Araki, but it's sort of young and innocent. It's very American. It's very soft, yet at the same time, it's just dreary and depressing and kind of angsty, Midwest emo. If it's a movie, it's that kind of vibe. The editing's kind of choppy at times. At times, the editing is really effective. At times, He throws in a comically wide lens to show the character's loneliness, and it really works. At times, it turns into a montage, and it's really creative. The editing and the cinematography is genuinely not bad at all. And I also like how this movie, within 100 minutes, basically shows every single character suffering. Every single character is going through something. A lot of movies take 3 hours to explore the suffering of two characters. This movie explores the suffering of every single character. Like, everyone's dying inside, basically. There isn't a single person in this movie who isn't dying inside. Everyone has their scene in this movie. I just love how cynical this movie is. It's truly an amazing feat how the script is able to depict everyone at their lowest point, rock bottom. Everyone's crying and screaming, and it's kind of impressive. And you know what? That's kind of my cup of tea. I'm a bit of a cynical, film enjoyer myself. I'm a big Ingmar Bergman fan. Give me more. However, however, this movie is far from perfect. Again, some scenes are really good. Some scenes are just too edgy. I get it. It's depressing, but you don't have to force it down our throats that it's depressing. The first scene where Henry Barth walks into the classroom and sees his class, he's like, okay, everyone, take out a piece of paper and write about death. Write about your own funeral and what people would say about you. And like, yeah, I get it. It's depressing, but if I was the teacher, I wouldn't immediately talk about death on the first class. And again, there's this notion that every single student is bad, and they're bullying each other, or they're emo, and they're wasting their lives, or they're drug addicts. And aside from a couple students, like, everyone else is depicted in a very bad light. Like, a normal school, unless this is like a school from the hood or something, or like if it's a school from the lowest worst neighborhood of all times, then maybe it would be this bad. But honestly, schools are normally not that bad, right? This movie is an exaggeration of how bad a school can be. And there are these animation moments where suddenly we cut to a stop motion animation. Like, Lucy Liu is in this movie, and she makes a phone call, and then it cuts to an animation of the cord of the phone going around her neck and decapitating her, and blood is going all over the place. Like, yeah, sure. It's honestly amazing how stacked the cast is, because aside from Adrian Brody, we have Christina Hendricks, we have James Caan, we have Lucy Liu, and also Bryan Cranston shows up in one scene, which is hilarious. But yeah, again, some character motivations and character changes are sort of sudden and abrupt. The Hooker character that I previously mentioned did a 180-degree turn like halfway through the film. There's probably a lot of time that happened in between that personality change, but it's just not really shown. And I guess ultimately this movie is about how being a teacher just sucks. So there goes my dream in being a teacher part-time, I guess. But yeah, it's not a bad movie. If you want to have a bad time, if you want to depress yourself, if you want to look at people suffering and crying constantly, this truly isn't bad. And it's not just like sadness constantly. There's a bit of happiness near the end, which is just enough to keep this movie from being a corny, cheesy mess. So yeah, kind of feeling a 7 out of 10. Wait a second. Who is this? Athena? I thought you're gone.
No, I am never gone. I will be with you forever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever.